Hello and welcome everybody, it is Wes here, and today we're going to be doing If You Are Not Talking With Them. For some of you may have seen that I did do Let's Spy on Them, and I did it live. But the reason I did not post that video was because upon review, after the video had processed, there was an issue with the audio towards the end, and I'm not really sure what happened, but for some reason when I did the playback it just there's no audio. So yeah, I put in a ticket with YouTube, but they pretty much didn't get back to me, so I'm kind of seeing the video as a bit of a loss. It may have been like an internet connection error or something like that, I don't know. But anyways, Dust in the Wind. We're just going to do If You're Not Talking today, and I'll do Spy on Them another time. Alright? If you're new to the channel, you can find the timestamps in the comment section, as always, for my videos. Just look for my name, it'll be highlighted and pinned, show more info, and you'll see all the blue links there to go to whatever zodiac sign you want to watch. Always remember, it doesn't matter if I'm reading the cards or another tarot reader is doing the reading. Use your judgment, alright? Not every story or message can apply to every last situation, so if it doesn't make sense, don't make it apply. Alright? And for anybody that keeps coming back to watch my videos, I do appreciate you sincerely. I really do. There are a couple people that have been stuck around for the last couple years watching my channel. Alright? Even when the reads don't apply to them, they still watch. So, thank you. You know who you are. Alright? And one more thing. This video is about an ex-partner. Alright? And I understand some of you don't like that. Some of you want new people. I don't really do new people readings. I think there's a lot of other tarot readers that already kind of do those reads. So I just do the X thing and that's it. FYI. I still get people emailing me about that. Are you going to do a new person read? No. Not now, or not really any time in the future. But the mystery person read technically is a free-for-all. So as far as I'm concerned, that's your new person read. Alright, we're going to start with Aries. Aries! You are the first sign, as always. Pretty much, because you're just the favorite, so I guess you always go first. Tell me about the person our Aries are not talking to. Who is this person? What can we know? Must be nice being the favorite sign, huh? Alright, so it says the Seven of Cups. So we have Scorpio energy there. This is probably a person that doesn't know what to do. This card can talk about lots of options. Might you be one? Some of you are going to say, Wes, I am not an option. Well, to this person you are. So just so you know. And the Lovers dropped out on its own. If I try to recreate that scene, it was kind of like that. The hand slipped and somehow did a little flipperoo. That's gotta mean something, so we'll take it. So this may be a person that is, in my opinion, nostalgic. Doesn't really matter what your situation is with whoever this person is. Most likely, if there's been time and space, doesn't hurt to think a little bit, does it? You know, don't know what they're thinking of, though. Who knows what kinds of thoughts they were having there, but we can only guess. How does this person feel towards Aries? The person that's not talking with Aries, how do they currently feel? So it says Two of Cups horizontal. So this person kind of wonders if you and them are truly over. Alright? Perhaps you could still be a thing, Aries. But then again, maybe not. Alright? This is a great union card. So might we guess that they're wondering if you and them are truly done? After all, it's saying Seven of Cups in the description. So, how is this? And we've got the Two Swords. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take this. Wow. Alright. I do get the impression that this is a person that is wondering whether to reapproach you. Now, always important to remember that just because we're seeing this here does not mean the person will actually do it. It just suggests to us an energy that there's some part of them that is contemplating coming back around. The Ace of Cups would do that. But this energy right here tells us that there's probably some conflicting alternative option, which we're not going to go into because we don't have time. But that's what what I would guess. I think that was like the universe trying to shut me up. Like, you said enough! Alright. How does this person see Aries currently? The person that's not talking with Aries, how do they see Aries? So we also get the Queen here horizontal, so this person still wonders if you are emotionally interested in them or not. Alright? Queen of Cups is, I mean, there's really not much to say to this card, Aries. It's one of the better queens, we'll say, at least from a connection standpoint. If you have a bond with somebody, or this person recognizes that you and them had some close connection at some point in time, one would then conclude: is our emotional connection gone, or is there still something there? Again, so we've got a person overall that is wondering more, if, in my opinion, where you stand. Because it seems from their position they have interest in you. The problem is wondering what kind of, like, let's just hypothetically say this person did come forwards and reconnected. What is their version of a relationship that they're looking for? That is the bigger question, because perhaps they never achieved it with you before. So is this like the idea that this time will be different? Or maybe it could be. Why is this person not talking with Aries? Person that's not talking with Aries, why are they not talking with Aries? What is the challenge? So it says the Ten of Swords horizontal. So if this connection with you and this person likely came to an end, I'm going to leave this one kind of up in the air here, Aries energy. It typically can describe situations that don't end on the best note. That's the lighter way of putting it. In some cases, on the worst side of the spectrum, it can indicate cheating in affairs or lying or betrayal. All right, which is why this guy is on the ground. But again, we don't need to apply the harsher energy to every situation. But the reversal here can tell us when something like that, if there's any bad tension or bad feelings, has passed, right? So if there was any annoyance on your side or any apprehension or defensiveness, has that passed, all right? Given that it's saying why they're not talking with you, this person may assume that tension or whatever, or even if it's not tension, it doesn't have to be a tension. It could just be like, I don't know, you guys are just like a bit of awkwardness or something like that. They're kind of wondering like if that's over or not, right? I need to put my phone on silent. We don't want to hear this. It's my work, basically. Ping, ping, ping. I'm like, I'm not even on the clock. Why the hell are they sending work messages? Alright, so that's what I got for you, Aries. Overall, you have a person here that is looking to, at least in their feelings, once has this idea that it's possible that you and them can reconnect. Part of the biggest issue is wondering if there's probably, I'm assuming, time and space, and also where you stand. This is a big telling card here because it really, in my opinion, depends on you. But even if you were emotionally open, one would then also ask, well, how's this person going to know that? I don't know. I don't know if they're expecting you to send a heart emoji or something. I mean, anyways, good luck to you, Aries. That's what I got. All right, I got a Taurus. Taurus. Tell me about the person our Taurus are not talking to. Who's this person? What can we know? What can I know? What can Taurus know? So it says the Ten of Cups reversed. So this is a person. This is Pisces energy. It is suggesting somebody that you had quite a close connection with, Taurus, but no longer. All right. The reversal can generally talk about the severing of those ties. It can also talk about a long and slow disconnect. In other words, because this energy, and the reason why I'm saying that is that this energy is supposed to represent a very strong bond with somebody. In general, it can talk about a wide range of fulfillment and happiness and other stuff. But in terms of relationships, you have a fulfilling connection with somebody. It could even be with friends, family, and stuff. But in relationships, you know this person. You care about them. There's things you connect on, right? The reversal, though, can tell us that may have disconnected over a period of time, because to have such a close bond like that, it's not something that you just snap away like that, unless, of course, this person did something really bad. But emotional bonds take time, to dissipate. So, but it is describing someone that you're quite close to. Tell us about this person our Taurus are not talking to. How does this person feel towards Taurus currently? We have Eight of Cups here. So this person may be wondering about how something ended, or it says King of Wands reversed. So unfortunately it's suggesting this person is either hesitant or holding back. What else? We have Chariot reversed. So this person is seeing certain obstacles or challenges that they cannot seem to get around or work past. All right. What do I mean by that? This card can tell us that when this person views the connection between themselves and you, that there is one or more barriers or certain things that may be outside of their control that is going to either interfere with the connection or is directly getting in the way of the connection from flourishing. What are some examples of this? Possibly distance is a factor. You're doing a job in one, on the other side of town, can't leave that job because maybe they won't get another one. Well, what do? I mean, their income would significantly go down. And then they also maybe have concerns, well, what if it doesn't work with Taurus? Those are just some potentials. What about kids, right? Maybe there's some conflict with kids. All right, that you can't obviously just get rid of the kids, right? So that's something that you have to deal with. So this person may be seeing certain factors or something that is a problem. It could also be something to do with your differences and the question on how to accommodate your differences. So in this person's feelings, they're kind of feeling like there's something that is preventing them from being able to pursue you. This also tells me that they're holding back too. It seems like with such strong energy like that, when the king is reversed like that, it can talk about pent-up energy. So it does kind of suggest there is probably some frustration too on their side. How does this person see Taurus? The person that's not talking with Taurus, how do they see Taurus? Person that is not talking with Taurus, how do they see Taurus? Says the Strength, so it's some Leo energy, so this person may get the impression that you are resisting them or holding back from them. All right. The Strength can also talk about a Taurus that is working or focusing on oneself. All right. They may see that you're dealing with your own things in life or challenges, especially if you've told this person that you have certain things going on in your life, or I have to focus on this, or I have to do this. I'm going through the motions. I mean, unless you're a lucky Taurus, that has $1 million in the bank and you're just living the life, then maybe this won't apply to you. All right. But this is what it's saying. But more than likely, this is suggesting this person gets the impression that maybe you are holding back from them. So we've kind of got a standoff here. It could also suggest that you're not giving in very easily, or I don't know, you're more resistant. Tell me about the person that is not talking with Taurus. Why are they not talking with Taurus? What is the challenge? Says Ten of Swords. So I got this almost exactly for Aries, but except in reverse. But shows up here too. So maybe there's some similarities in the reading. You can go and check that one out. But this is suggesting your Taurus that this person may have felt that the way things ended, whenever that may have been, is a factor. If I were to take an educated guess here, based on what we're seeing, I would assume that this person has concluded that this has something to do with it. In other words, I guess it would really depend on how a Taurus would have taken whatever the issues were, or whatever. Maybe you felt this person could do more. All right, but again, Ten of Swords is never, unfortunately, a great energy. It does sometimes talk about quite a nasty divide between people, and it's showing that here. I just gave the rundown about that card earlier. So, in summary, what do we have here, Taurus? We have a person which it suggests that you had a very strong bond with. We won't go back into that again, but they are holding back. It suggests that there's some type of unfortunate obstacle that's getting in the way, or some issue that is potentially, as I said, out of their control. They see you holding back or resistant, or just focusing on yourself. This person sees that basically, again, this Ten of Swords energy is quite a dividing energy, so one would ask, how do you get around it? I'll ask one card. What is the advice here? So it says Ten of Wands as the advice, and it went over strength. So for this advice here, if we're going to take this combo, how it came out here, Taurus, and this is a take it or leave it, but if we're looking at strength in the advice portion, the strength does tell us about overcoming incredibly difficult challenges, but it's saying it will require a lot of work. But if it can be done, it could yield probably a reversal of this. What does that mean in plain English? It's saying that whatever this problem is can be resolved as far as the universe is concerned, but it's more of a question of, do people actually want to put in the work to do it? Well, I suppose that really depends on both people, though. So what this person will do, I don't know. But that's what I got for you, Taurus. Good luck. All right. Wes, I am not getting out of bed for shit. All right. Well, hopefully they will pull a miracle at this point. Gemini. Tell me about the person our Geminis are not talking to. So we have the Four of Cups. So we have Cancer energy. This is describing a person that is essentially, in my opinion, manifesting or sitting under the tree. So this may be a person that is frustrated or somebody that spends a lot of time reflecting on the past about what you and them had. I can tell you right now with confidence, I have no doubt this does not take up their whole day. But what it does tell us is that it does come across their mind from time to time. And this person does probably think about it. All right. The problem with Four of Cups, though, is it does kind of also add this layer that there was some expectation of a certain outcome that was never achieved. In other words, that sucks. So this person may have felt that you and them had a lot of potential, and it could have been so much better, but there's something that apparently didn't happen or didn't go to plan, or perhaps they found out that they thought maybe Gemini was going to be on board with something and then realized that, no, you're not all about that. Okay? I also, for some reason, get a wishing type of energy off of this card. I don't know why. I normally don't get those vibes when I read tarot, but today I am. So, wishing. I don't know why that is coming to me. This person's wishing. Alright? Tell me about this person that is not talking with Gemini. How do they feel towards Gemini currently? It says Queen of Wands reverse, so energy is showing to you, suggesting they feel that you are not taking any action, or your enthusiasm for them has gone, or you're potentially just holding back. Given that we have this Four of Cups here, though, my assumption here, Gemini, is that they may get the impression that your interest in them has diminished quite a bit, if not absent. All right? Because the Queen is normally a very active card. She will reach out. She will go above and beyond to really try and make herself known. So this would be more suitable for a Gemini that is kind of, I guess, not giving this person any interest or time of day. You're kind of, even if there is, the occasional message here and there, it could be suggestive, like a Gemini that really isn't like, if this person had attempted to say hey or what's up or something like that, and then they basically just got like a one-liner back from you. Oh, just got off work. That's it. They may be communicating, like seeing that as like, okay, Gemini's just not interested, because they know in the past you were like, oh, what are you doing? Oh my God, yeah, I just got a shower, blah, blah, blah. So they may be looking at those differences in your communication. How does this person that's not talking with Gemini feel towards Gemini? Wow. We have Temperance reverse show up. So they are getting a sense that there is differences between the both of you. So that can cause disharmony between two different people. Again, that's coming back to this energy, almost suggesting that they probably are, again, I said that earlier, a little bit of frustration, because it is showing in their feelings here that that's probably adding to this disappointment as well. It's like wanting reality to be different than it is. In other words, if I could just tell Gemini what to do, that would be great. How does this person that's not talking with Gemini see Gemini? It says the Page of Swords. So this person still gets the sense that you are curious, or you are somebody that probably still keeps tabs on them. This is a nosy card as well, but it can tell us about somebody that is willing to communicate, but it can be just sometimes unexpected. So that can tell us this person may not really know what you're going to do. But even if you're not messaging this person, they would at bare minimum, this person may get still nosy, whether that's true or not. It doesn't matter. You might say, well, I don't do that. Well, this person doesn't know that. So, but this page can also tell us that this person still gets the impression that maybe you wonder about them. Like, let me just see what they're doing, you know? Check if they've got any speeding tickets. Not that I need to know that, but I just, just a lot of check. Hey, I noticed you got a speeding ticket about 2 months ago. Did you take care of that? Oh, what are you looking that up for? Oh, no reason. No reason at all. Not being a stalker. Just saying. Just kidding. Oh, we got cards flipped around here. Alright, there we go. Alright. Tell me about this person that's not talking with Gemini. Why are they not talking with Gemini? So it says the Hermit, so we're going to have to clarify that. Clarify the Hermit and why this person is not talking with Gemini. What can we know about the Hermit? So it says 5 of Swords horizontal, so we'll take that over the Hermit. So this card does tell us, this old man here does tell us about wisdom and experience. In other words, what this person has gone through and what this person's dealt with in their life experience. So whenever you have to pull on that inner knowledge, it's because you're contemplating something in the future that hasn't happened yet. But over it, what is being contemplated? It's talking about 5 of Swords energy, which can sometimes tell us about tumultuous situations or things that have the potential to become ugly or problematic. You can also talk about conversations that go south, or the way a communication between 2 people can sometimes not go to plan. All right, this person seems to be wondering about that, but the horizontal energy is kind of vacillating between the potential of something negative versus the de-escalation of it. So I would assume this person is reflecting on some type of imbalance between themselves and a Gemini and the best approach around it. What would this most likely be tied to? My guess is that it would be relating to if there was a disagreement with a Gemini. In other words, you felt that there were certain things that were important to you that this person wasn't addressing. That would be a source of conflict right there. It doesn't have to be yelling or screaming, but just enough to have you bothered that your point wasn't being heard. Or maybe it was a Gemini that felt that this person just wasn't really taking what they were saying very seriously. You know, if you leave something like that long enough, it's gonna annoy people. Give me a mystery card for this person that's not talking with Gemini. Give me a mystery card for this person that's not talking with Gemini. I'm only getting this. I'm not asking this for every sign. I'm just doing certain knickknacks because your reading is, well, we have 2 cards here that came out. We have Chariot and Ace of Wands. Here's my final thoughts on this person, Gemini. You have a person that I think in some ways is doing a lot of soul searching and reflecting about you and them. All right. There seems to have been some type of divide between the both of you. I already gave my thoughts on that. This person still believes in some ways that you are keeping tabs on them, or, I don't get the impression that you're probably spending your life around this person trying to figure out what they're doing, but it probably, from their position, they still get the impression that maybe every once in a while you're keeping, one eye open on their profile. Is that true? Who the hell knows? It doesn't really matter, because as far as this person's concerned, That's their impression, right? There is the biggest wrench to this is this, which is suggesting that this person is worried about something not going so well. In other words, if they were to reapproach you or engage you, it could lead to some type of issue. And this doesn't have to be immediate. It could be even if they reconnected with you and things went well and stuff like that, they may be concerned that it would descend into some issue. The mystery is showing Ace of Wands and Chariot, suggesting Ace of Wands is a spark card, and the Chariot is pushing something forward. So there is some interest in this person to potentially find a way to, I don't know, see if something could happen between you. But this energy to me seems exploratory. But this is a strong, I don't know, I mean, it's a strong indication this person's contemplating the idea of doing something with you, but we'll see. Good luck, Gemini. I'm going to go to Cancer. Cancer. All right, hope all the Cancer people are doing great. Tell me about the person our Cancer, oh my God. Tell me about the person that is not talking to our Cancers. Who is this person? What can we know? What can I know? What can Cancer know? Person that is not talking with Cancer. So it says the 9 of Cups. So this is describing Cancer, somebody that you came quite close with, but it never reached the pinnacle of your connection. This card, I've said it many times, and it's important to know that it is one away from the 10 of Cups, which talks about very close bonds that are most commonly found in marriage situations or long-term connections. This can also talk about fulfillment, a connection which is really fruitful. You guys are doing well, but you kind of want that if you're leaning towards getting married, right? You don't want the pressing time, stagnation. So this card does talk about, you and this person potentially having quite the connection, but in my impression, it didn't quite reach the level that it could have. So, but nonetheless, it's still describing something positive here. It's also possible this may have been a person. We'll just go, off the imagery here, even though that's really describing this guy being successful at his business. It could also still imply that this could have been somebody that drank a lot of alcohol or liked to party or celebrate, or somebody that liked to go to restaurants, clubs, stuff like that. But again, it doesn't have to be, just possible. Tell us about this person that's not talking. Cancer. So we have 2 of Cups, very strong. How does this person feel towards Cancer? So immediately this person is still seeing a bond of some sort towards you, and we have the King of Wands. Wow. So you have a very interested candidate, probably the strongest energy so far in, all the reads, so far. Another card wants to come out, and it says Fool. Holy shit. I'm going to be real with you, for if you're not talking with them reading, this is quite upbeat. This energy suggests somebody that's strongly considering a new start with you or the potential of a journey with you. The Fool energy is most important here, because what that tells us is something important. It tells us about the unknown. And you'll notice there is a moon there, which says, I don't really know how that would work, or where would it go, or how would we do it. But who cares? It's worth a shot. You also need somebody with some enthusiasm and energy, and this king can definitely do it. So we clearly know that this person is interested in a potential connection. Does this mean, despite how positive it is, that this person is actually going to do this? There's no ways for us to know that. It is just simply suggesting that in their feelings, there's a strong indication that they are manifesting it, in my opinion. But this is the most important because it tells us a stronger indication that they themselves may approach you. The Fool can also strongly suggest taking chances or risks. What do I got to lose? Might as well just ask Cancer. How does this person see Cancer? The person that is not talking with Cancer, how do they see Cancer? Says 3 of Pentacles reversed, so the energy is unfortunately not so good. This can probably give us the impression that from their standpoint you are a one-man band or you have other priorities. So this would be kind of suggesting that it doesn't mean to say that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean to say that you're selfish or you just don't give a shit about anything. But it can suggest when it comes to them, you got other priorities. They're just not somebody that you are, maybe it's you just, I don't know, you don't have the time for, or it could also imply that you are not on board with whatever, if this person came back around, you may not be on board with their plan or how they want to do things. This can sometimes be because of differences, or you just see your life path as different, right? Different priorities and what you think is important that you need to focus on. And if this person doesn't want to accommodate that, then can't help you, chief. So there's some issue there. This can also vaguely suggest a Cancer that is not willing to work on the connection or has had enough of wanting to work on the connection. All right? In other words, you may have put a lot of effort into trying to fix something, but you've kind of just said, you know, I just don't want to do it anymore. So it doesn't always have to be 100% negative here, Cancer. Just take it how you see it. What is the reason this person is not talking with Cancer? What is the challenge, the reason? What can we know about why this person is not talking with Cancer? What is the reason they're not talking with Cancer? So we get a page. Let's clarify the page. What is the issue with the page? So this card can be seen as communication. The card says 9 of Wands reversed. So that is a problem card. So this can tell us, Cancer, about somebody that may feel that trying to engage you in some type of way is difficult. The problem with 9 of Wands, when it's reversed, it can talk about entrenched positions. In other words, inflexibility, or there's like this person's almost expecting something to occur in some sort of way that is not going to be easy. The question is what does it apply to? It's very difficult to know. So basically what it's saying, because a page, if you look at a page, what would a page be doing? A page is going to be if you are separated from someone, the best way to get up, to get your foot in the door, and there are a couple foot in your door cards in tarot, is sometimes just opening up the lines of communication. It's trying to see if you can engage this person to want to do something, or it's, I don't know, use your imagination. But just because you can do that doesn't mean to say it's actually going to go anywhere, right? So one of two things is really going to happen when that occurs, is either it's going to be smooth as butter or it's not. And this person is expecting that there's going to be some type of resistance. What that resistance is, I don't know. If this person came around to Cancer, how would Cancer feel about this person? It says 3 of Pentacles. Here's my final impression here, Cancer. You have a person here that seems to have quite an imagination as to what could be between you and them. All right? With this type of energy, I'd be very surprised that this person does not come around, if not at least make an attempt. And if it's even possible for a small percentage of you that you are already in contact with this person, as long as it's minimal, because this reading does say that you can have minimal contact, right? So if those things apply, it's quite possible that this person, like I said, I don't know, just wants to see if there's a possibility of you and them potentially reconnecting, right? There's energy on their side to definitely suggest they have interest in you or in a Cancer. The biggest problem is their impression of how you are going to be if they were to come around to you. And again, wouldn't even matter even if, like I said, you've had some minimal communication, because it would almost imply that they're getting some type of impression of how you are, whether that's true or not. They are expecting some type of resistance. But the real, I don't even know what the word I would use to describe this, because the thing that is hilarious is that when I asked about how you would feel towards them, it is actually suggesting you would cooperate with them. So there seems to be some issue between you and them are on a different page where there's a misunderstanding. So I would assume if this is true, you can kind of take your pick here, which side you fall on. Is it team, I'm cooperative, or B, I'm not cooperative to this person? Because the tarot is suggesting that if this person came around, you'd be willing to work on things. That's what it's suggesting, whether that's true or not. Good luck to you, Cancer. If only this person actually knew that. Looks like they're getting the wrong impression. Leo, how are all the tiger people doing and the lion people? All right. Tell me about the person our Leos are not talking to. Who is this person? What can we know about them? So it says the 8 of Wands, so we got some Sagittarius energy. I'm going to have to clarify that. Clarify the 8 of Wands. Why are they being described as that? It says the 4 of Pentacles. What in the hell is that saying? Let me see what other energy. I have a vague idea on what it might be saying here, but let me see what's in their feelings first. Tell me about the person our Leos are not talking to. How does this person feel towards Leo? Okay, that card comes out. So it says the Knight of Wands reversed. how else does this person feel towards Leo? Okay, so we've got some kind of conflicting energy here. First, so this energy, Leo, is, I don't know what to make of it, because really what it's saying is that this is almost like an individual that was focusing on themselves, but it seems like they want to move something forwards. It's generalized with this energy, but with Eight of Wands, it tells us about two things. It can be pushing a project or a connection or a relationship between two different people on full cylinders and pushing ahead, all right? Be a plan, a business, multiple things, but it is nonetheless putting energy into things. And with Wands energy, there is communication. In other words, two people in this particular situation, they'd be on the same page. There'd be lots of communication, activity, you doing stuff. It's describing this person like that. But the unusual thing is that when we come to their feelings, it's showing the Knight of Wands reversed, which is Wands on Wands energy reversed, which is not good, because that can tell us about any of the horse cards are movement cards in the tarot. So it means this person is doing nothing. They're holding back. Next to it is the Temperance reversed, which is also telling us about something that is misaligned. Could be relating to it's not the right time, or there's issues, some type of personality differences or situation at present is out of whack. All right. Temperance can flip-flop all the time. It really depends on the day, the month, the year. Why? Because people's situations are constantly changing. Their thoughts are constantly changing. Their impression of things, their mood. All right. At this point in time, though, it is suggesting, though, some type of imbalance here that apparently this person has issue with in terms of you and them. Why does that matter? Because it tells us that there may be an urge to hold back, which I mean, it is saying they're holding back, but despite that, this person is still wanting, it seems like, to start something. How does this person see Leo? Person that is not talking with Leo, how do they see Leo? You know what, let's use the Banana Tarot, because I haven't used it in a while. Oh no. Fucking hell. We got cards, it's going everywhere. Person that is not talking with Leo, how do they see Leo? Okay, we got one card. It says the Hermit reversed. So this person may get the impression that you're quite estranged from them, isolated. Are you actually doing that, Leo? Probably not. Who knows? For some of you, you are. All right. So, the most accurate representation would be suggesting a Leo that's a bit of a hermit, or you spend a lot of time alone, or you are I don't know, the type that spends all day in your apartment when you're off work, or you don't reveal much about yourself in social media. The Hermit, in the reverse, pulling away from the world, but do I think it's that extreme? No. It's really just this person's interpretation. And the reality is that you may be living, for some of you, may be quite social butterflies doing your own thing, but this person may just get the impression that when it comes to you and them, that you are kind of isolated, or you don't reveal much to them. Maybe in the past you were. Maybe you were quite transparent with what you're doing at every hour of the day, but no longer. Why does that matter here? Because it can demonstrate to this person there's a low interest towards them. Tell us about the person that's not talking with Leo. Why are they not talking with Leo? is the challenge or the reason? Challenge or reason as to why this person's not talking with Leo. So it says the Chariot horizontal, and it went about, it was a kind of like that. So we're just going to take it under the Hermit. Close enough as far as I'm concerned. So this is telling us that this person here, Leo, more than likely has been wondering about how to move the connection forwards with you, or if at all to do so. All right. Chariot in the upright position is very strong because when somebody is in that energy, it can typically talk about no matter what the challenge or the issue is, they have the motivation to want to pursue it, do it, even if there is a chance. They know they have to put energy into whatever it is, and there's obviously going to have maybe some obstacles along the way. But this can tell us there's, again, you're parking that energy, or you're not doing anything with it, or you're just seeing that it's impossible to move things forward. Right? So I would imagine that while this person sees you in this energy, they also are probably in this energy as well to a degree around this. So what are we learning about this person overall, Leo? Their energy is primarily focused on movement, on how to actually facilitate and get the wheels rolling, and if that's even possible with you. This energy is also showing us there is a degree of hesitation, and I would imagine it's coming from this because of the fact that this person is wondering, one, where you stand, and two, if there's even like really interest. So is this more just a pipe dream that I'm thinking of? And also another thing, is it a good idea? I can tell you right now with this energy, that would be something that this person would be thinking about. Just because you should, just because you can, the question is, should you? What is it? What was that one from Jurassic Park, whatever? He's like, we're so busy thinking if we could that we didn't think about if we should. It's like probably like that same energy here, in my opinion. If this person came around to Leo, how would Leo feel towards them? No, actually, well, wow. Anyway, too late. It says the Queen of Swords. So the tarot is suggesting, and again, feel free to disagree, I really don't care. The tarot is suggesting that if this person was to come around in your feelings, you would be Queen of Swords. In other words, your heart would not be on your sleeve. You would be quite... with the Queen of Swords, she is open to communication. She will receive it. She will even respond back. But she goes through things with a fine-tooth comb. She is not somebody that trusts very easily. You have to earn her trust. So in other words, that heart, the lusty side of you, is probably behind a paywall. So this person most certainly won't be getting very far until they have met the checkboxes. That is my impression there. All right. The Queen of Swords does have water in the card. It's water and air. But the problem is that water part, which is very important, is behind that giant sword there. All right. We had two cards drop out here, but we're not going to take that. I just don't want to add to the reading. It was 5 of Wands and 5 of Swords reversed. Maybe there's a concern of potential tension there in relation to this card. Maybe you're concerned that this person is there because 5 of Wands can be a bit of game playing. Maybe there's a concern around that, which is why you got your sword. I don't know. But overall, what did we learn here? Leo, this person is contemplating how to make something move forwards with you, and if they should. Good luck to you. Maybe they just can't wait to go back to Costco with their discount tiger and find all those delicious bargains. Not to mention the food court. And Costco really does have, if you guys go, for any of you that shop, specifically at Costco's, you have to try that frozen coffee that they make. It's kind of like at the bottom of the menu, and I always, when I'm in line, I don't see many people order it. I really don't. It's like kind of almost seems like it's a secret item, like one of those secret item kind of gigs, but it's really not. It's on the menu, but I don't know. I just think it's amazing. It's like the best damn coffee ever. But next time you're there, try it. All right, let's go to Virgo. To our Virgo people. Virgo. Wow, we had 3 cards come up. Well, I didn't even get a chance to answer the question, but we're still going to take it. Tell us about the person our Virgos are not talking to. Well, we're just going to take it because they just flipped up on their own. This is probably a person here. Wow, and we also got Fool when I split the deck. This is strong energy suggesting somebody that wants to approach you. With Wheel of Fortune, though, there may be a component of mystery there, because the Wheel of Fortune can sometimes suggest somebody that is hoping for an opening or some type of opportunity or the right time. In other words, the universe will kind of just make it, it'll just kind of work out when it's supposed to be. All right, but this Ace of Pentacles would be the foot in the door, and they're even bringing a mega pint for you, Virgo, which is pretty good. So might we suggest this person may attempt to wine and dine a Virgo? That is the best possible outcome we could hope for here. Tell us about this person that wants to wine and dine a Virgo potentially, that is not talking with Virgo. How do they feel towards Virgo? How do they feel towards Virgo? A card comes out, says the Hermit. How else does this person feel towards Virgo, the one that's not talking? It says the Moon. There's uncertainty with this person, unfortunately. So as magical as this is really more important. Why am I saying that? Because this energy is here, suggesting that this person already has a degree of, I don't know. So what do we do when we are in uncertain situations? We kind of hope for a helping hand. And this person seems to be hoping that something is going to go in their favor. This Moon energy can also tell us about the road ahead. It can be hazy or cloudy. In other words, we just don't know what unknowns could get in the way of things either working out or becoming overly complicated. This person, furthermore, is thinking to themselves, which tells us that there is a degree of thought, and the Moon can tell us about also a degree of uncertainty coming back to that, I don't know if I should. So this person has like 2 warring sides to them. One is strongly suggesting to come towards you, and the other is kind of saying maybe we should be cautious here or hold back. What is causing them to have this Moon energy? Who knows? Perhaps it could be something as simple as, well, yeah, probably Virgo just doesn't want to, maybe the situation's cooked, just had its time. They probably don't want to see me again. Or maybe the way that I left last time or the way it ended, they don't want to deal with that again. It's possible. Tell us about the person that is not talking with Virgo. Why are they not talking with Virgo? What is the challenge or the reason? Can we know? So it says the King of Cups. However, it's horizontal, so it's telling us that there is some concern about the emotional connection with you and their romantic side towards you. The upright, it would tell us that this person still has a very devoted bond to you, but the reversal can say they're completely disconnected. However, it is horizontal, which tells us that this person is still exploring their feelings towards you. But one of the reasons this would, and again, a lot of the things I say on this channel are just my opinion, so just take it how you will. But this person probably feels already that there's some degree of disconnection from you. In other words, you and them aren't running on all cylinders, and from whatever the space has been between the both of you has probably chipped away at that emotional bond you once had. All right, the laughter, the chemistry, whatever. However, it doesn't mean to say it's all lost. It's always possible that it could be repaired, right? If the conversation went well, or perhaps things just kind of bloomed really fast and unexpectedly, perhaps things could go in the right direction, right? So I think this person is wondering if what was had in the past could happen again. So let's not paint this as negative, because it is not. It is just a person asking real questions. Is it possible? I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, if you got a Virgo that is just unfortunately shut off and you kind of feel like, yeah, you had your time, whatever, well, there's nothing this person can do. You know? Takes two to tango, right? If this person came around to Virgo, the person that's not talking with Virgo, if they just came around unexpectedly, how would Virgo feel towards them? This may not apply to all of you, but it says Six of Cups. So this would be favorable because it would suggest, with this card, a lot of positive memories or attributes about this person. In other words, you're still fond of them. All right, so I would imagine that if this person came around unexpectedly, it wouldn't necessarily be, at least the tarot's suggesting, you wouldn't be completely repulsed by them. Doesn't mean to say that you would go and just be naive and do whatever. It's just saying that a part of you would be interested, I think. Anyways, that's what I got for you, Virgo. Overall, I think you got a cautious person here. There's strong energy suggesting about a reconnection here, or them contemplating it. But there's heavy energy suggesting a lot of like a bit of an unknown, whether they should or not. This person does wonder if they can form a bond with you again, and if that was possible, how would that even look? It's not like this person has a manual that's telling them what specifically needs to happen. You know, when connections come together, they're always unique, right? Most times people say the best connection I ever had was unexpected. Good luck to you. Let's go to Libra now. Libra, how are you doing? All right, tell me about a person our Libras are not talking to. Who is this person? What can we know? What can I know? What can you know? Person that is not talking with a Libra. Whoever might they be. So it says a page, but it's horizontal here. So clarify the page of wands horizontal. It's got a queen here. I'm not going to take that. That probably might tell us well, if we take the queen, then it would probably suggest this is a person that had quite a strong bond to you, or some type of attraction to you. And oddly enough, we now have the Queen of Swords here, so perhaps your energy has changed towards this person. Clarify the page of wands horizontal. So it says the Five of Swords, but it's horizontal, or not horizontal, reversed. So This is a person that is wondering whether they should initiate something with you, but it's not really specific. This card can tell us about communication or text messaging or something like that. The Five of Swords reversed is a conflict resolution. It is an energy which is generally good. It can tell us about something that may not have, could have been a turbulent time period or something like that that has since resolved. But one would ask why this person is hesitant. I don't know. So it's describing somebody that is like on the fence about communication with a Libra. Tell me about the person that's not talking with Libra. How do they feel towards Libra? So it says the Magician. Pretty strong energy. You've got Gemini energy there. How do they feel towards Libra? It says the Seven of Wands reversed. That's not so good here. Because it's counteracting, well, kind of counteracts the Magician a little bit. Clarify the Seven of Wands reversed. Why are they feeling that towards Libra? It says the Fool. Oh, okay, that's pretty negative. Okay. Let me ask how this person sees you first. Person that is not talking with Libra, how do they see Libra currently? So it says King of Swords. Okay. Clarify the King of Swords. Clarify the King of Swords. Why do they see Libra like that? Card comes out. Says Queen of Cups. So it kind of suggests, and we see that Queen again, but I think I don't know, we saw it in the other deck. To me, that's still a little bit cryptic there, because it seems like this person may have potentially attempted to reach out at some point with a Libra or engaged in communication. It's showing it up right here, so I'm a little confused about that. But coming back to their feelings, this is quite negative because it's telling us that some start was attempted or there was plans to do so, but the Seven of Wands being reversed shows giving up on that or failure of some sort. Magician is positive because this person feels that there's still potential, but this is negating it because it's almost implying like they've given up on that. So, and we're seeing hesitation here, and how they see you is a little, in my opinion, a little confusing there because it's showing them in King energy. Either like they talk to you in that energy. Let me do one more card. We'll see if the tarot can tell us anything more. Why do we have the King of Swords and Queen of Cups? What can we know? What is the crossing energy between them? Card comes out. It says Wheel of Fortune reverse. So not the right time, it's suggesting. So, in my personal opinion here, Libra, I'm not going to give a definitive overview on what I think this is because to me it's a little bit cryptic. Wheel of Fortune reversed here is quite negative because it's really saying that it can sometimes say that even if something was started or attempted or this king was trying to do something, it didn't go in their favor. But what the reason the queen is doing there upright, I'm not 100%. Because normally that is favorable. It would suggest a queen that's quite open. Unless this person was seeing where you stood. That would be my guess here. But if you've heard absolutely nothing from this person, then this couldn't possibly apply. What is the reason this person is not talking with Libra? A person that's not talking with a Libra, what is the challenge or reason why? Probably because it didn't work out the first time. Or maybe they're wanting to know where you stand. That also makes sense to me. But again, then when we're at the Wheel of Fortune's down there. Okay, 2 cards come out. Says conflicting energies. We've got 5 of Cups and the Knight of Cups. One is a favorable outcome, one is a disappointing outcome. This is almost like implying like this person attempted something, but it didn't go anywhere. Or it ended in failure. What was the reason for the 5 of Cups? What can we know? Says the 2 of Cups, but it's horizontal. How would the tarot suggest Libra feels towards this person that's not talking with Libra? It says the Star. Let's use Darkwood Tarot. Well, it's horizontal, but we'll take one card team out. What is this? We got 2 of Wands here. We also got 2 of... What is that? We'll take that. 2 of Cups reversed. Well, actually, what am I saying? When I look at this, we'll just take the Star upright. If we look at the 2 of Wands, it almost seems like from a Libra standpoint, there was contemplation and a relationship ending and a relationship healing. That would actually make the most sense to me. Here's my final impression here, Libra. You have a person here that is definitely showing some type of... Their direction is confused. Alright? This reading strongly suggests and aligns more with some type of individual that may have attempted to reconnect with the Libra, but it was met with failure of some sort. Alright? The how they see you part is still, to me, a little bit cryptic on what it's truly saying there. But again, it's reinforcing whichever way we spin it, that it was something that didn't go to plan there. This person and their feelings shows a split energy where there's some part of them that was potentially felt that something could have worked, but it didn't. Or it didn't go anywhere. Or they've given up. Alright? And why it's saying they're not talking with you, it reinforces that there seems to have been some interest, but it didn't really go anywhere. There was some type of disappointment. Alright? But with this being horizontal, it's still even showing that. Like, as a relationship or connection was up in the air, but there was no clarity over it. The unusual thing is when I ask around your energy, it kind of does suggest 2 of Wands, which is an action card on making a choice or decision to do something. You obviously have to put your energy and your time into one thing. In this case, do you want to deal with it or not? The one side kind of suggested there was contemplation on to just leave it alone, and the other would be with if it was going to heal or not. But this doesn't really tell us what a Libra would have done or chose, so I'm assuming it would be different for all of you on how you would truly feel towards this person. Alright, but what it does imply is that there's some contemplation even on your side that it's possibly done. It's cooked. Alright? But there is a glimmer of hope. So perhaps there's some type of criteria or something that you're looking for specifically that needs to happen. I don't really know. Alright. But overall, it does still project that there was some type of curiosity on this person's side, but it seems, if I'm honest, like the energy is fading. Alright? What this person will do, I have no idea. Sometimes I can make a guess based on what the energy is suggesting, but this is heavily mixed here. They're vacillating between it's over and done with, and that's it, to there's still with the Magician is really the only thing carrying it there, that there's a possibility. But I'd say that that's more in their impression, like it could have worked, but it didn't. Good luck to you. Scorpio. Hope all Scorpio people are doing great. Tell me about the person our Scorpios are not talking to. Who is this person? And what can we know about them? Person our Scorpios are not talking to. Who is this person? What can we know? One card. Says the Eight of Swords. So we got some Gemini energy with that card. Tell me about the Eight of Swords. What can we know? Why are they being described like that? The card comes out. Says the Six of Swords reversed. So this is suggesting somebody, whoever they are, is contemplating or thinking about this Six of Swords energy. In other words, moving things to calmer waters, but the problem is it's reversed, suggesting that something didn't go to plan or it's been unable to recover to a better position. And it's telling us that this person keeps thinking around it. How would that look in real life? It's somebody recognizing an issue, but being unable to figure out how to resolve it or fix it. So it's like, if only I could figure out the solution and what would work. So what is this problem? I have no idea. But it tells us that this person keeps thinking about it. So much so that all those swords are almost keeping them prisoner. Do I think that's really, are they really a prisoner in their mind in real life? Probably not. But it just tells us that there is some stress around it. Right? Tell us about this person that's not talking with Scorpio. How do they feel towards Scorpio? Okay, I take that back. There's a lot of stress apparently on this person. All right. This is the only reading I've actually seen someone stress. Apparently, whoever this person is quite a strong indication that this person has a strong error in their chart. This person is somebody that probably thinks about a lot of specifics or little details and things, and they can take something small and overthink it to death. This also tells us this person could be a water sign because of the fact that they're wasting time even thinking about a Scorpio. I mean, clearly if you're capturing this much of their mind, there must be some emotional interest in you. How does this person feel towards Scorpio? Give me one more card. Person that's not talking with Scorpio. It says the Five of Wands, but it's horizontal here. Another card comes out. It says Eight of Wands reversed, and it went over the Nine of Swords, suggesting this person is with this energy here, which is worse than the Eight of Swords. It's saying that things are stopped, stalled, or not going anywhere. Apparently, it is really bothering this person. That's what it's saying. Take it or leave it. All right. This can also tell us two things about fighting for the connection or giving up on it, admitting defeat, failure, and it's not going to go anywhere. In other words, if it cannot move forward, so this person may just contemplate that it could just be over. All right. Five of Wands does tell us about a person, one important thing. It's winning a competition. They're playing a game here to win. So you kind of got to have some motivation, some confidence, some pizzazz. Now, if we look at a relationship, that might tell us that relationships come with obstacles. Does one have the drive to get through it? All right. So why is this person contemplating maybe not to do that? Probably because they're concerned about some issue that they may get the impression like, I can't fix it. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to resolve this. How does this person see Scorpio? This person that's not talking with Scorpio, how do they see Scorpio? Come on now. So this person sees you, unfortunately, at the Two of Wands energy. So in terms of when it comes to you and this person, it is implying that from their position that you are kind of probably contemplating whether this is true or not. Doesn't really matter because it's from their position. It's almost implying whether to probably come back to them or reconnect with them, or to leave them in the dust and follow the light to somewhere else. Translation, you've had enough. So it's really just a question of what to do. So this person kind of gets the impression like you're still on the fence about maybe what to do with them, or which way to go about things. It's not like you're going to probably give them an official letter or tell them. Who knows? Maybe for some of you will, but for others of you, it's most likely you just go. You know, you're not going to waste time on this anymore. So they may be wondering also what you're going to do. Even if you have moved on, this person may still, even if it's been a year or something like that, they may still wonder if you're going to choose to come back. You know, more so if you did that a lot in the past. What is this person? What is the reason this person is not talking with Scorpio? The card comes out. Come on now. Says the Hangman reversed. So we're gonna have to clarify that. Clarify the Hangman reversed for why they're not talking with Scorpio. So we have the Sun and the Knight of Cups. What is the problem with that? If we look at the cards here, you notice two different things here. We got a guy over here, and we also have a female sitting down, and they're two different cards, and it's almost like in my opinion, it almost looks like it's, if I try to build a scene here, let's see if I can get that kind of good there. It almost looks like it's one picture, don't you think? This is telling us with the Hangman reversed here something important, because it suggests that this person is trying to look at something and they're reflecting on it, thinking about it, maybe about how it functioned, how it operated, how you were, what they've said, what they've done, how you interacted with things, and how things have gone, how it didn't go well, when it did go well. But the reversal is telling us that they've thought about that for so long, and when we're holding it down, it's talking about this right here. And we don't even need to talk about the actual cards. We can just look at the imagery, because that tells us that this person seems to almost have this vision or potentially wonders about better times or coming towards you. And the Knight of Cups is a card which strongly talks about somebody approaching someone romantically. But while that's super good, and while this image looks really good, it's stuck under this Hangman reverse, suggesting that they've thought about this but not done anything about it. And the problem also with the reversal of that card is it can sometimes suggest that even if this person is trying to see something in a different way or change the way that they're looking at it, they're fixed or stuck in a certain way of viewing it. In other words, either they can't or they don't want to see it in a different way. When would it be most suitable when somebody would not want to change that? It's when basically they liked the way something was at some point, and they don't really care that times have changed. They still want to relive that moment. They want to, they want their Scorpio, how you were, and how you were acting, and maybe some of you have changed. Maybe you're not the same person anymore. I personally preferred when Scorpio was naked. That was so much easier. I mean, she is naked in the card, just saying. Scorpio don't do that anymore. It really sucks. Times really have changed. Picnic and naked Scorpio. I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, even the sun was giving the approval. So I'm trying to illuminate that in 4K. If this person came around to Scorpio, how would Scorpio feel towards this person? And again, feel free to disagree with whatever the hell it says here. It says, we've got a Page of Cups. You would be interested. Wow. Apparently, if this Knight would actually go and do something, you might be open to receiving that cup of whatever they're selling. So overall, Scorpio, that's what I got for you. It seems like you've got somebody that is an overthinker. This person has a defining characteristic, an overwhelming characteristic of excessive thinking. They think a lot. It shows all over the energy here. Ultra high indication for a strong air sign. Either this person is a sun or a moon air sign, or even if they're not, they just have a lot of air. Person also has potential to be a strong water sign. All right. There's a lot of indecision with this person. Why they are overthinking this, I don't know. There's potential that they are reflecting on how things were and not how things are now. There's also this issue pertaining to some type of stagnation or a blockage which they contemplate or think about and they don't know how to get around it. How that really looks in real life from person to person is going to vary. The tarot suggests that if this person got off their ass and actually made an attempt to probably come in this Knight of Cups energy, apparently it's saying that you would be open to it. Whether that's actually true or not, I don't know. That's what I got for you. Take it or leave it. Alright. Who do we got next? We got Sagittarius next. Okay. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Tell me about the person our Sagittarius are not talking to. Who is this person and what can we know about them? Card comes out. Says the Magician, so we have some Gemini energy. So this is a person that is seeing an opportunity or potential around you. Whether they'll actually do anything is another story. But Magician is always powerful energy. Alright? It can tell us about that the universe is pretty much, I don't know, it's kind of lining up the stars to be in alignment so that it's kind of giving you the vibe that you're in the right spot, whether that's career, finance, your situation, or just in general, the time would be a good time right now. Alright, it could be for business, it can be in relationships, it can be a wide variety of things. But it doesn't really matter. Even if the Magician energy is here, you still have to act on it or do something with it. And the question is this person going to do anything with it? It's just describing them as this, all right? It can also tell us about the possibilities. This person may also feel that, you know, there's potential here. Let's see, though, what their feelings show, and we'll go from there. Tell us about this person that is not talking with Sagittarius. What is in their feelings towards Sagittarius? Card comes out. Two cards come out. It says the Five of Swords reversed and the Queen of Cups. How else does this person feel towards Sagittarius? It says the Five of Wands. So this person does kind of feel a bit of a loss between you and them. Alright. Five of Swords, we don't need to go too much in this card, but it does sometimes also in this particular context can talk about when something was, a situation was there, it could have been good. You know, it doesn't really have to be any specific one situation, but it could have been a good situation that for whatever reason blew apart. Alright. Sometimes the unexpected things can tear situations apart, or it happens over time, or it's neither of those things and there's other factors that got in the way. All right, but whatever the case is, it's showing a de-escalation here. But while that's positive, it still does tell us to some extent that potentially damage has been done or something around that. So this person may feel that there's a bit of a loss here. However, this person still does think about their person, aka you. All right. This Five of Wands, unfortunately, can have a wide range of interpretations here because one would ask, does this person want to fight for their queen? Or does this person feel that you are going after other suitors? Because this card can also talk about a Sagittarius that is actively dating around. All right. They may feel just that. Well, my Sagittarius that I care about a lot is seeing other people. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But again, could go either way, so we have no real ways of knowing for sure. How does this person that's not talking with Sagittarius see Sagittarius? Wow. This is, I don't know if it's good or bad, but this person does see you as independent or single. They also get the impression that you know what you want. So that can be not so good for them, because if you are somebody that has kind of been generous enough to display exactly what you want, they're either going to fit in that description or not. All right? In my opinion, it's always better to be vague and decide behind the scenes as to what you want. But if this is true and what it's saying, this person has the impression that you are somebody that's probably already made it clear about what your priorities are, what you're looking for, what you will get, and what you're not going to settle for. So if this person unfortunately doesn't meet some of those things, they may almost get the impression like, well, what can I do? So but it really boils down to how is this person truly seeing it. All right, but they do see you as single, and this card is oftentimes bachelor, bachelorette material, is somebody that may be interested in getting married or is at that level of wanting to find marriage. What is the reason this person is not talking with Sagittarius? The person that's not talking with Sagittarius, what is the challenge or the reason? What can we know about why they're not talking? What is the challenge or the reason as to why they're not talking? So it says the Ace of Wands here, horizontal. Clarify the Ace of Wands horizontal. So it says the Six of Wands horizontal. Clarify the Six of Wands horizontal. And a card comes out. It says the Two of Swords reversed. Well, that's kind of like this version too, because it actually shows the female over here in her reflection, which is contemplating really two different, really important decisions here, right? This person may kind of be getting the sense that you are on the fence when it comes to them. This energy has the potential to be very good, because if we took it upright, this would definitely mean a potential start. We've got the Spark card, suggesting putting new energy into a situation. And if there was any problems or issues from the past, it doesn't matter what it is, we can put it behind us and move forwards. All right, but it's showing the horizontal here, which suggests it could go, as much as that's positive, it could go in the opposite direction, which means it would go nowhere, it'd be stalled. But it, again, comes back to potentially, I'm assuming, what you would decide. So what do we need to know here in summary, Sagittarius? My impression of this reading is that you have a person here that has some type of vague potential. In other words, they see something still with you. But if I'm honest, their feelings are kind of a little bit clouded. But what I find interesting about this person is that they seem to be very either they're observant or they're just coming up with an impression that you are a Sagittarius that's just living life or doing you, and you're off to the races with other suitors. All right. They almost get the impression like you're not interested, or you're like on the market, like going after other fish. So why does that matter? Because it would give them the impression like they're no longer important. So this person is kind of giving a more of a pessimistic kind of attitude towards this. In other words, it's like, well, I don't really have much control in this. This is more of a Sagittarius thing. You know, Sagittarius will kind of decide. So they may be almost expecting a Sagittarius to kind of come around and do stuff, because from their standpoint, it would be like showing that you do care or something like that. I mean, that's just my guess here. All right. Take it or leave it. That's what I got for you, Sagittarius. Overall, I don't think this person's going to do anything, unfortunately. I think they're literally expecting you to kind of give them a strong clarity that you're interested. But Wes, I went through my entire phone book, and I tried to attempt to let every 100 of my contacts know that I was interested, and I didn't get anything back yet. Oh shit! Guess we got the wrong person. I'll have you know that I showed up to every one of my ex's doors, and not one of them let me in. Oh. Whoops. Please don't do that. All right, Capricorn. Tell me about the person our Capricorns are not talking to. Who is this person and what can we know? Hope all my Capricorns are doing well. Since the Page of Wands reversed, so this is a person that is, unfortunately, it's describing them as doing nothing. They're not messaging, they're not... What is the reason for the Page of Wands? Well, it says 8 of Cups here. So we split the deck on there. We're going to take that. We have Justice here too. I'm going to take that too. And we have 2 of Wands reversed. I'm going to take that too. And we have 6 of Wands reversed. So this could have been a person here, Capricorn, that decided leaving was best for some reason. Like something was not going to work, or they didn't know what to do. So evidently just leaving or quitting the situation was, from their standpoint, the best thing to do. So whether you agreed with that or not. Tell me about the person our Capricorns are not talking to. How does this person feel towards Capricorn? So we have the 8 of Wands. It's horizontal here. So this person, it seems like, wants to re-engage you, but there's a possibility of not doing so. So it may be some contemplation. This can also, in the horizontal, tell us about stagnation, where it could go either way, but at this present time, it's stagnant. How else does this person feel towards Capricorn? So we get 4 of Pentacles, but it's reversed. It is Capricorn energy. This person may get has the impression here that you potentially have moved on, Capricorn. The 4 of Pentacles in the reversal tells us about people that have left the situation or have basically made their peace with it, and rather than holding on to it, they just, fine, I'm done. So this person may feel that you've checked out yourself. So either they left, even if they left, they may get the impression that, well, you left as well, you know, which obviously you would have had a reason to, but who knows? It's more of a question of who left who. Or how did the situation end would be better in, you know, in understanding what these cards were saying, but then again, it would be different for everybody. How does this person see Capricorn? Person that is not talking with Capricorn, how do they see Capricorn currently? Let's use a different deck. Person that is not talking with Capricorn, how do they... So what do we got? We got Knight of Swords. So they see you as Knight of Swords. So they see you as quite an assertive person. Clarify the Knight of Swords. So it says Two of Swords. How do I interpret that? This is either suggesting that you or they see you as somebody that was on the fence about something, or you were kind of reserved at one point and then you became assertive. In other words, you made a decision. So this is like if somebody was on the fence about something for a while, going back and forth with it, and then suddenly they were assertive about it, about their position on something. So how could this happen is like if somebody is like kind of flexible, if you're trying to work through things, maybe you're kind of more open to a lot of things, but then the Knight of Swords would be somebody that would just tell it how it is, where they stand in something. It's pretty much black or white. The reversal of this, if we kind of look at another potential, is that it could have been also a Capricorn that kind of said something along the lines that you don't really know where you stand when it comes to them. In other words, I don't know. So it could go either way. So either you were assertive or you weren't. Why is this person not talking with Capricorn? Says the moon, so this person is unsure what to do, it says. Which does show in their energy. How does Capricorn... If this person came around to Capricorn, how would Capricorn feel towards him? Potentially. If this person came around, the person that's not talking to Capricorn, if they came around unexpectedly, how would Capricorn feel? What does this say here? It says King of Swords. Guess we'll clarify that. Tell us about the King of Swords. It says Four of Wands. So my assumption is you would feel that this person is wanting a relationship if they came around. That almost implies like it's suggesting like you would already know why this person is there. So it's not for chit chat or to ask you for a bar of soap. It's because you know what they're wanting. So this has to be for a very specific situation. Here's my overall impression here. This situation is, in my opinion, could be interpreted, it has the ability to be interpreted in a couple different ways. But the way that I'm most seeing here is that it's suggestive of a connection that ended with somebody that I'm assuming left because it was either the best option or is the right thing to do. And I'm kind of saying that off of justice. It may have been interpreted like the situation was declining or not going so well, or it wasn't going in the right direction, or maybe the pizzazz, the wildness was fading, or there was some other problems where it was becoming a bit loveless or something like that. But higher potential that there was some other instigating factors or something like that that made it a bit more complicated. If that would definitely resonate here, because then I could definitely see somebody leaving, you know, and justifying it, saying, well, I had to walk away. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Kind of thing. This person's energy seems to be one in which it's holding back. It also kind of seems to suggest this person gets the impression like a Capricorn is already departed. You've either said your bit or you've made your position known to this person, like you're done. All right. This person kind of sees the situation in limbo. There is a degree in their feelings that maybe this could start again, evidenced by the Eight of Wands energy, but they also feel at the same time as possible that's not going to go anywhere. All right. This person has a lot of uncertainty on whether this is going to go anywhere. They're thinking about a lot of different possibilities with the moon energy. It kind of, the tarot is kind of implying that even if this person came around, you have the impression that you would almost know why they're there or what they're wanting. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. All right, but it shows more of a Capricorn that would be on the fence, or again, more likely that you've already made your position known to this person, but then why would you be resistant to them? I don't really know. All right. I'm 50-50 on this person, holding back right now, but it seems like they're, I don't know why. The energy doesn't suggest it, but I get this impression they would want to still approach you. All right. Even though the cards really aren't suggesting that, I just get this impression they would. All right. Good luck to you, Capricorn. That was kind of a weird reading. Aquarius. How are you doing, Aqua Gang? Tell me about the person our Aquarius are not talking to. Who is this person? What can we know? Can I know? Can Aquarius know? No. So this is a person that doesn't really seem to know what's going on right now. Problem with the moon energy is that there's a lot of deception sometimes with this card because, again, the most common example is a shadow, which can appear one way, but it's really something else. The ant that appears to be an elephant. That's a very crude example, but it does kind of tell us that the moon can sometimes embody illusions or deception in some ways, and which is where the uncertainty can sometimes come in, because you just don't really know what's going to happen or how something will unfold, or what, and in some cases it can also just be what to do, because maybe you don't know if somebody's proposing something to you, what that would look like, or how that would play out. There's some other stuff with spirituality and things with the moon energy, but it doesn't really apply here. All right. How does this person that's not talking to the Aquarius feel towards Aquarius? How do they feel towards Aquarius currently? So it says judgment, but it's horizontal here. Again, this is reinforcing that they're on the, this person feels like they're on the fence when it comes to you, Aquarius. Because judgment, like if it wasn't upright in this case, would be more suggestive that they kind of have an impression on how things are going to be. But the horizontal is suggesting that that's still kind of up in the air, that either a decision hasn't been made or it's just been left unanswered. In other words, it's like the door is kind of potentially open, but it's whether it's fully going to open or not is another story. So one would almost ask, like, well, it's not fully shut, so is there a chance still, or what? How else does this person feel towards Aquarius? Card comes out. It says they don't, again, reinforcing this person doesn't know what to do. All right, so when it comes to an Aquarius, they are definitely on the fence. Clarify the right sword in their feelings towards Aquarius. So we have Seven of Wands. So the right sword is suggesting whether this person should pursue an Aquarius or continue to try and make something happen with you. And what is the left? says Four of Wands. Wow, that's also favorable. What's the downfall here? Well, we have, oh, Magician reversed. Okay, that comes out. We'll take that over the Four of Wands. So what it's saying here, Aquarius, is one side is, again, with the Seven of Wands is the positive side, because that is suggesting somebody seeing that even if there was any issues between you and them, or there was stagnation, or it's been distance, or whatever it may be, you got to put the effort in, right? Do you give up on it, or do you continue to fight for it? In other words, make an effort at bare minimum, right? You don't have to be digging a trench or doing something amazing. You just gotta put some energy, you know? That's modern day putting energy in. You know, back in the day it was walking 10 miles and having some roses and stuff. Now it's just instant messenger. Alright, but hey, close enough. Some people are like, FML. The other side is showing the Four of Wands going to the heart. Magician reverse, this kind of came out on its own there. But this is suggesting the contemplation of whether a relationship's even possible. Right? So while that's positive, Magician reverse just can basically say, while I can look at the positive of this all day long, but it doesn't work. It can't happen. Why is that? Potentially there are things getting in the way, obstacles, geographic changes, or things that are just basically big obstacles that are causing things to be divided. I mean, you also got to have interest, something as simple as interest. Doesn't Aquarius even care about this person anymore? How does this person see Aquarius currently? This person that's not talking with Aquarius, how do they see Aquarius? So it says the Nine of Wands. So this person gets the impression that you are somebody that is probably quite resistant, or you are very specific in your ways. Nine of Wands can also describe the wounded warrior energy. It can sometimes talk about somebody that is getting fatigued or worn out with the situation. Alright, this person may get the impression, Aquarius, that you've just had enough, or you're just getting kind of tired of the runaround. Alright, this guy is literally on one knee trying to push forward, trot along, and it kind of suggests like he's been peppered with problems or issues. So it does describe, in this case, potentially an Aquarius that, again, might just be getting to that point where you've had enough. But there is one positive of the card, is that it does kind of suggest the ability to still hang in there and push forwards, right? Because it's one away from nearing completion of a cycle. Why is this person seeing this energy? I'm assuming they just get the impression that maybe when it comes to them that you're just reaching that point where you're losing interest, or I don't know, they're meeting resistance when it comes to you. Nine of Wands also carries that, again, that fatigue and that draining kind of energy. So it sometimes suggests that even if somebody cares, they may be exhibiting or showing or displaying qualities that kind of give the impression like there's low interest, even though they're just kind of taxed from the situation. So whether this is really true or not, who knows? All right. Could also be a sign that the enthusiasm from an Aquarius is like a little bit more diminished, or you've got a lot of other stuff going on in your life. What is the reason this person's not talking with Aquarius? So it says this Page of Swords, but it's horizontal. Clarify the Page of Swords horizontal. It says the Four of... What? This energy, to some extent, reinforces this energy here. So this is more, again, kind of implying that this person is seeing an Aquarius that is either you're not satisfied with how this person is showing up, or you're, again, there's some type of, like, lack. And this person is getting, you know, why this person is seeing it like this, I think this reading, in my opinion, is probably going to be a little bit more niche for a certain kind of Aquarius situation. I don't think it's as generalized as I hope this read would be. But it's definitely showing like an Aquarius that is probably on the edge of being fed up with this person, or you're just not putting that effort in because you're getting tired of it. But with Four of Cups, it also tells us that it could be an Aquarius that is seeing potential, but it's not there. Like you're finding that you're constantly getting disappointed. This person may get the impression that, yeah, like maybe you're just, I don't know, you're just not getting as excited as you once were, or like maybe your behavior has changed. If this person came around unexpectedly to Aquarius, how would Aquarius feel towards them? Person that's not talking with Aquarius. This will be take it or leave it. So it says the Seven of, wow, look at that. What the fuck? So this is in their feelings as, remember this, as one of the contemplations here. And then it says it right here that apparently if this person would come around that you would choose this option. So maybe I have to reread this. Because I think I was more describing it from their standpoint. So perhaps it's almost suggesting they feel that you're deciding whether you want this or not them. And it's actually saying that the truth is you would fight for it? Or put the effort in? That's all I got for you, Aquarius. My overall impression here is there seems to be mixed signals going on here. The real question is, where does Aquarius stand here? This person has this impression like you're probably getting tired of this, or you have put up with a lot or something like that, or maybe this would probably be for an Aquarius that's gone in circles. They may be aware of that, but just because, and something to remember here is that even if that is true, that they get the impression that you've put up with a lot or whatever like that, it doesn't mean to say that they're going to magically change their behavior. They may just view it is what it is, and either you're at your wits with it or you want to deal with it some more. All right? It doesn't always mean to say like this person's going to come and be like, oh, I'm so sorry you have to go through all of that. They're, more than likely not, that's not going to happen. So they're just kind of assessing, in my impression, where the situation is at. And unfortunately, they're seeing it in a very gray area, a lot of unknowns, and they do question whether your interest has waned. All right, where would you even be interested, and is it even possible for something with an Aquarius? The funny thing is, it's suggesting to tarot that you would actually still put energy into this, but who knows if that's true or not. Good luck to you, Aquarius. That's what I got for you. Take it or leave it. Now we go to the fish people, and then we're done. Pisces, you are the last sign, as always. Unfortunately, you're just not as special as Aries, who goes first all the time. For pretty much every tarot reading on YouTube, you know, they're always first. So don't worry, I'm an Aquarius, so I go, I go before you, so I guess I'm better than you guys. Anyways, tell me about the person our Pisces are not talking to. Who is this person? What can we know? Just kidding. You know we saved the best for last. Person that's not talking with Pisces. says the Hierophant. Well, it's the first time we've seen that card tonight. So we'll just go off of the imagery a little bit with this card because it actually, for this version, shows the contract. Most versions don't. So this can indicate to us that this was somebody that you potentially did have some type of lease agreement with, or for some of you could have been marriage, but it could have been telling us as a clue this was somebody that you... There's also keys here, something to do with that. All right. A binding contract. So this definitely could have been somebody that, or you were planning to sign something with this person. Again, I don't typically with Hierophant energy, even when I see it, I don't really see the contract, even though the card does talk about it. So which, whatever. All right, we'll go off with that. See what else comes out. Tell us about this person for our Pisces. Person that's not talking Pisces, how do they feel toward... Wow, we got Fool already. Their feelings towards you. Person that is not talking with Pisces, how else do they feel towards Pisces? So it says the 10 of Wands. Clarify the 10 of Wands. Why is that in their feelings towards Pisces? We have this ace here. I'm going to take that. Clarify the 10 of Wands and their feelings. And we have the Knight here. What this is basically saying here, Pisces, is that you have a person that is very interested in the potential or at least the idea of a potential new beginning with you, right? The Fool has so many possibilities. So one would ask the question of what is this person thinking about and how does that even look for them, all right? What does that situation look like where you and them are involved? Is it like a strong friendship, or is it a close connection, or is it a marriage? I mean, what is this person thinking about? We don't know. But remember that all of us have a brain. We all think with our conscious mind and sometimes our subconscious about situations. And a lot of those times, those things don't actually come to fruition. We just fantasize or thinking about them. So who knows what this person's really contemplating here. But the Fool is strong energy for somebody that's looking for a new start, taking a risk, taking a chance. Where would it go? I don't know. Look at that Moon energy there. The 10 of Wands, though, is kind of negative, though, here, because what that does suggest to us, though, is it would be a lot of work. All right, and it's going to the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. Why does this person feel it would be a bit of a strain? I'm not really sure. Does that mean this person would just not even do it? No, but it is saying from their standpoint, they may feel that this energy right here is not going to be so straightforward. In other words, if there has been space between the both of you, or it's been awkward at times, or it's been stagnant, or it's been hit or miss, or whatever like that, then maybe doing this is not so, it's not going to be so straightforward. You know, if you didn't know the person and there's no history, then this is pretty easy. You know, you could just take a chance. Why does this person feel that even if they did take a chance, it would be maybe a little bit more difficult to get it going? One of the possible reasons is that even if they did this, maybe your interest level is so low that they would have to work to get it back up. In other words, you know, I don't know, just do things to get you to be more interested in them again. Like really impressive. They would have to really impress you. How does this person that's not talking with Pisces, how do they see Pisces? Card comes out, it says 3 of Cups reversed. So I'm going to just say one thing here. If you came close to marrying this person, it would apply here, because this can talk about in relationships that came close to marriage that went nowhere. In other words, it failed. All right, because then it would match with contracts and weddings here with this card. That's for some of you. In that case, they would see you as somebody they almost got married to, but it didn't work out. Clarify the Three of Cups reversed. Again, it says Six of Wands reverse failure. So again, it's highly suggestive of a failed connection or somebody where it was going very well, but it failed for some reason. Basically, when the going got tough, it cracked. Couldn't make it work, but... What is the reason this person is not talking with Pisces? Person that's not talking to Pisces, what is the challenge or the reason? So it says the Knight of Pentacles, that's horizontal here. Clarify that. Clarify the Knight of Pentacles horizontal. Card comes out. Says the Nine of Wands, but it's reversed. So this energy, again, is coming back to this. Suggestive here that with Nine of Wands reversed, this, in my impression, both, doesn't matter which side it is, it's negative. But, well, not like crazy negative. It really kind of depends on the situation. But reversals can tell us that a situation has sometimes become inflexible. In other words, there are factors or things about somebody's situation, and this is more common in situations where somebody is over the age of 30 or better yet in their 40s or 50s, because at that point in time you're no longer flexible like your 20s. In other words, for a lot of 20-year-olds, it's like, yeah, I can move over here, yeah, I'll go and do this. When you're an older, as you get older in life, right, your situation becomes more established. It's not so easy to move and change things. You've got a routine going, you've got your job, you've got all this kind of stuff. So there's not a lot of wiggle room. And I'm not saying that's everybody. There are still some of you that are, malleable like clay, but that's probably not the majority, all right? This person's seeing as a reason why they're not talking with you as there's some type of inflexibility here, and this would tell us about moving things forwards and in total stagnation or going the opposite direction. It's horizontal here, which tells us that it's kind of in a gray area, but again, if we pair in a gray area inflexibility, there's some type of resistance here. So oddly enough, that despite that, this person still sees possibility here. But the real question, the meat and potatoes of this reading is, what is this resistance? Because it is a defining factor in this person's energy. Because clearly if they don't see it a different way, then they're not going to do a whole lot, right? We need to see, basically what I'm saying is this person needs to see the potential here. But for some reason they're seeing this like layer of complication or something that's going to be difficult to overcome. And my thinking, my best thinking here, Pisces, is likely something to do with something you've said or your situation or the way that the connection transpired. So this person has some sort of awareness. Maybe it's a lot of responsibility. You got 4 kids. I don't know. That could be inflexibility because you can't change that, right? I just don't have the energy. I'm sorry. I don't have the energy to impress you. I've got all these kids that I take care of. Or I've got 3 different baby daddies I got to deal with. If this person came around to Pisces unexpectedly, how would Pisces feel towards them? This will be a take it or leave it. So if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't matter. Use the Everyday Witch. See what that says. If this person comes around to Pisces, how would Pisces feel towards them? Okay, a card comes out. says the Seven of Wands. There we go with this damn energy again. What is with that? Why does it say a Pisces like that? Look at that. Look at your posture there. How is it possible that the tarot is suggesting what I just told you, and then it's showing how you would feel? Maybe you feel this person's accusatory, or do you get the sense maybe this person's like always pointing the finger? Because look, it's like a Pisces that's feeling like what the hell? Why do I always gotta like stand, I don't know, stand my ground type thing? Maybe you feel this person's like very, like they're always pointing out things or blaming you or something like that. There seems to be like a guarded energy here. Anyways, that's what I got for you, Pisces. My overall impression for this reading is it does kind of suggest somebody that it seems, and again, highly suggested that there was probably some serious connection at some point for some of you. Kind of give you my thoughts on that already. But something, it's evident that it failed here. It's actually saying it wasn't successful. Three of Cups in the reverse can also be a falling out of a situation that was once very blissful, joyful, promising. Even could have been at the point or the cusp of where marriage was a possibility, or it was even planned and that fell through. For what reason, who knows? This person has, as I told you, there is an indication, despite the negative stuff I'm saying here, is still seeing some potential that maybe we could restart this type thing. But this carries a lot of unknowns because of the fact that it often implies taking a risk. In other words, we don't actually have all the variables worked out. All these variables, we don't actually have these worked out, but sometimes you just got to do and not ask questions, and we'll figure that out later. Right? There is this energy suggesting of doing that. But the part of this reading that to me is difficult to know what is what is that this person has this impression like you are a bit of an obstacle to deal with. And then when it comes to them, it also kind of implies that you feel like you have to be on guard to them. What is that about? Or you have to be a little cautious to them. I don't know. So those are my thoughts there, Pisces. Take it or leave it. We are at the end of this video, so if you made it to the end, because there are a handful of you that leave my video running right through, and the reason I know that is because I can see the analytics, right? So whoever you are that does that, I really appreciate it, because it does help the ad revenue. But anyways, I will see you guys on the next one. The next video will be Spy on Them at some point, hopefully next week or the week after. Alright. Leave me a like if you got something out of that, guys. Thanks for watching.